Well, hello there. This is Skip McCoy for Riversoft University. Today's segment is Medicare features in Riversoft Office. I'm going to start at the very beginning, and that's payer setup. Go find a Medicare payer. Now, Riversoft normally does this for you as a part of our installation. We will configure your Medicare payer. When we do that, we'll make sure we've got your NPI, your submitter ID. We're going to make the payer class Medicare, because all your financial reporting and all your patient lists are separated by payer class. We'll make sure the ECS style is appropriate to your intermediary, that it's for UB92 or a UB04 claim. And then we're going to set up your allowed skills. And we're going to set up more than just this list here. And we're going to use the appropriate revenue codes. We're also going to use skill categories and show you how to use those. Skill categories are skilled nursing, skilled OT, skilled physical therapy, and skilled speech therapy. By using skill categories, you can satisfy, say, a skilled ST with either an ST or a speech therapy assistant. You can satisfy a physical therapist with either a physical therapist or a physical therapy assistant. So those categories are very important, and we'll show you how to use those when we set that up. Okay, once your payer is set up, that's Medicare, then we'll go to patient intake. Show you how to do patient intake. I'm going to show all the Medicare. And you can see in all the patient lists and all the financial reporting, all the census reports, you can always break out everything by payer class and by payer. This is the main client screen. So when you're doing an intake, besides getting the normal demographic information, verifying the address, getting your referral source, you want to make sure you get the Social Security number, Medicare ID, Medicaid ID, disaster code, physicians, diagnosis codes, race, and intake, because that's going to help out your field staff when they're doing their field notes. All that information is going to default for them. You're going to be helping them out. But for Medicare, it's very important that you associate the Medicare patient to your Medicare payer, and that for that association, you make sure that the person's Medicare ID is in here, and that the skills that you're actually going to perform for this patient are in here. If you don't know, you normally just put an SN star and you wait for the start of care, because at that point you'll know which skills you're actually going to be performing for the Medicare patient, because your field nurse will complete the start of care note, and that start of care note is going to populate everything. And I'll go through that in just a little bit. For Medicare, it's important to gather the face-to-face information. So when you do a referral for your physician, if they did the face-to-face visit, you want to record that date right here. If they didn't do the face-to-face visit, then you're going to bother them. You're going to send them the face-to-face sheet and ask them to document the face-to-face visit. If they don't return this, when you actually send the care plan to the physician for signature in Riversoft Office, we also will send a face-to-face sheet to bother them once again to please document that face-to-face visit. Okay, that's patient intake, so it's really pretty simple. So once you've done patient intake and you've scheduled your first billable visit, then the start of care field note that your assessment nurse is going to do is going to generate your 45, your OASIS, your doctor order compliance rules, and it's going to preload the schedule. So that, I'm going to go back here, Bricklin, and just show you what the schedule looks like. Okay, back up to where our visits are. There we go. So you'll schedule that very first visit and then all the subsequent visits. So you'll just continue to do that, and field notes are going to come in, and the field notes are automatically going to verify these visits. You're going to be sending the care plans to the doctors for signature. You're going to be sending the OASIS to the state. You'll be doing all that, and as soon as we have a mailed care plan and this first billable visit, when you create invoices, we're going to create a wrap. This shows one wrap has been adjusted to 0, and there's 2 wraps in here actually. But the system's going to do that automatically for you whenever you click on Create Invoices. As long as that patient has a mailed care plan and a skilled billable visit for Medicare, we're going to generate that wrap for you. Okay. Now, when the episode is over, and the episode ends whenever the cert period ends or you discharge the patient, we're going to generate the end of episode. Let's find out. There's the end of episode right here. It's been generated on 4/29. We generate the end of episode. That's going to generate an invoice. Once a wrap or an end of episode has been generated, you're going to go to Manage Claims, Edit, Print, and Transmit UB04, and this is how you create an 837 file for Medicare. Back this up a little bit, and this is already covered in other videos, but you just choose the claims that you want to send, highlight them, create 837 file. That's going to create your 837 file. You send it to your payer. While you're submitting that file to your payer, you'll want to gather any 835s that the payer has and process them with this feature. This is going to enter Medicare payments into the system so you can do a bank reconciliation. It's going to apply the cash to relieve your aging for Medicare, and it's going to adjust those wraps and EOE invoices to equal what was paid, and that's going to save you time. You don't have to do the adjustments yourself. Okay, so let's say that you've done an episode for a patient. You sent the wrap in, they paid it, but you processed an 835, and that's how they paid the wrap. Then you created the end of episode invoice and claim. You sent that in with an 837 file. They paid that with an 835, and you're all done. Well, with Medicare, there's cost reporting, and to prepare for that, it's very simple. What you want to do is go into the invoices screen, and for Medicare, look at your EOE invoices, and at the EOE invoices, this is a UB04:EOE, so these are the final invoices. If they have a question mark right here, what that means is it has not been categorized. If it hasn't been categorized, we don't know really what type of episode it was, and you'll need to know that for your Medicare annual cost reporting, and you'll need to know that the Pps Episode Report needs to know that. So to categorize an episode, just look for the ones that are question marked. You may have to look in the chart to figure out exactly how to categorize this, but you go to Adjust Invoice. You don't have to put in any adjustment amount. All you're doing is a categorization, and then you choose from something in this list. It's that simple to categorize an episode. Then you save it. I'll actually choose one in here. Say Normal, Save, and now that one's been categorized. You're all done. So that's how you tie up your episodes into a nice bow so that they're all ready for cost reporting in the Pps Episode Report. Now, speaking of that, if you go to Reports and the Pps Episode Report, I'm going to back this up a little bit. This is a special report that will give you your Medicare PPS patients and pretty important information regarding those patients. Okay, you're going to get the name of the patient, date of birth, start of care, the HIPS and HHRG, the begin and end of the episode, the days of the episode, then their total count for the types of visits they had, the original wrap and EOE amounts, the final wrap and EOE amounts, whether it's the transmission date, the cost, and the gross margin. You're also going to get any alerts here, and at the very bottom of this report is a whole page of very valuable statistics just for your PPS, your episodic paid prospective payment system patients. Okay, so that's the PPS Episode Report. And you can see this episode type right there. That's what you were doing by categorizing those end of episodes, is allowing this report to tell you what type of episode they were. So when you're doing your Medicare cost report, using the sales report, we'll know what type of episode it was. Okay, two other types of reports here are clinical in nature, and that's the Clinical Outcomes Report. I'll back this up and get some data. And this tells you how your patients are doing from the start of care to the discharge in 16 different measurements. Most of them are activities of daily living, and it just lets you see agency-wide if your patients are getting better or if they're getting worse. That's the Clinical Outcomes Report. There's also a Discharge Disposition Report. And this, again, whoops, let me back this up a little bit. Okay. This gives you a report, an overview in your agency of where your patients are going to at the time of discharge, and that's becoming more and more important. Okay, like I said, I'm going to close all these tabs. In almost any patient list, you're going to see that you can generate your patient list by payer class. So if you've got multiple Medicare payers, you've got your standard Medicare payer, and you might have other PPS payers. You categorize those as Medicare. You might also have Medicare Advantage payers who aren't billed episodically. They're not billed with a prospective payment system. They're billed by the visit, but the payers say, just bill me like Medicare. Well, actually, they want to be billed by the visit, but they want the bill to look like a Medicare bill. Those will be probably under insurance. But this is how you can break out your patient populations by payer class. If you've got multiple Medicare payers, you can choose by payer right here. So you could zero down right to the payer. So there's no reason to try and separate your patients out by office. Riversoft Office is very good about breaking up your financial reporting, doing royalty reporting, giving you patient census reports, all broken out by your payer and payer class. Okay, well, those were the Medicare-specific features inside Riversoft Office. We worked very hard to make Medicare and hospice and insurance and all the payers and home care work very well together, because in these times, more and more patients are getting more and more different payers all in the mix, and we need to make it very simple for you to schedule and bill and track the clinical documentation for your patients when there are multiple payers in the mix for that one patient. Okay, this is Skip McCoy for Riversoft University, signing off.